All right, Shalom. Brothers of Great Millstone, branch out in the morning, back again with another lesson through the Spirit. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to
Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Hakwadash.
double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, salutations to all you brothers preaching the gospel in truth and sincerity, always in charity. As you can see, the title of the lesson is entitled The Daughter of Babylon. You know, and through the Spirit, Lord willing, we're going to go into proving, who's ruling the daughter, who the daughter of Babylon is, and who's ruling it today. You know, so we start in Psalms 137.
God. This is the book of this is the book of Psalms, chapter 137, and verse 7. It says, "Remember, O Yahweh, the children of Edom, in the day of Jerusalem, who said, race it, even to the foundation thereof.
Mm-hmm.
O daughter of Babylon."
And Edom, as we know, Edom, Esau, he's the twin brother of Jacob. Genesis, the 25th chapter. The first came out red. You know, he was the firstborn, and the second one to be born was Jacob. Right? Go ahead.
It says, "O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed. Happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us."
Right. So it's going into what Esau did, man. So it says, "Happy how shall he be that rewardeth the daughter of Babylon as thou hast served us." You know. So it's letting you know that Esau, Edom, the previous verse ahead, what he did unto us, how he said, raise it, even to the foundation. So what he did unto us is going to be done right back to him, you know.
It says, "Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones."
That's it, man. So that's payback. Going into everything that you've done unto us shall be done unto him, you know. And without further ado, we can get right into it. If you got anything that you want to bring out specifically.
Nah, that's all right.
But grab Isaiah 47:1.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 47. And verse 1, it says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon."
Mm-hmm.
Sit on the ground. Right, and just a point, all right, we read in that Psalms 137, it said the daughter of Babylon. All right, we're reading in the book of Isaiah, the 47th chapter, it says the daughter of Babylon again. All right, letting you know that it's not talking about ancient Babylon, it's talking about another Babylon, right? So it says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans,
Mm-hmm.
for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate."
Right. And what is that, man? Now, America was looked at and called tender and delicate, and it won't be looked like that no more, man. You know, it's tying the daughter of Babylon in with America today. You know, go ahead.
It says, verse 2, "Take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks."
Another angel saying, "Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication." Man. You know, so it's going into what the prophecy of America and how America is spreading what its philosophy, its democracy throughout the whole world. But when you jump down, from the 8th verse, you jump down to the 14th verse, it says, "And I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man." That's our Lord and Savior Yahweh Shai, right? "Having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, Thrust in thy sickle and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe." And that's what the wine press, when grapes are ripe, now it's time for you to harvest them, man. Right? It says, "And he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. And another angel came out of the temple which is in heaven, he also having a sharp sickle. And another angel came out from the altar which had power over fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, Thrust in thy sharp sickle and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. And the angel thrust in his sickle into the earth and gathered the vine of the earth and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of the Most High. And the winepress was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the winepress, even unto the horse's bridle, by the space of 1,600 furlongs, man. Going into showing you how Babylon is called the Lord's winepress, man. In Isaiah, the 63rd chapter says, who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra, like him that treadeth the winepress? So the vision that Isaiah seen and the vision that John, the Revelator, seen are synonymous with each other, man. But John seen it as Babylon, and Isaiah seen it as Esau, Edom, which let you know that those two judgments are one and the same. They're tied in together, according to Psalms 137 that we started with, you know.
I just want to grab one more point. I'm gonna read this in Isaiah 63 and 2 again. It says, wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat, right? It said red in thine apparel. But I'm gonna keep reading. It says, I trod in the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me, for I will tread them in my anger and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment, right? Now this links up again with what John saw in the book of Revelation, the 19th chapter. This is Revelation chapter 19 and verse 11, right? Because also in the book of Isaiah, it said that who is this, Isaiah 63 and 1, who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra, this that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength? I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. And the way that the Lord is going to return is what? Via the chariots.
No chariots, the white cloud.
That's right. That's right. Now this is the book of Revelation chapter 19 and verse 11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, right? That same white cloud, that chariot, the same thing that Ezra saw in book of 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter as well. It says, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, speaking of our Lord Yahushua, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood. And his name is called the Word of the Most High, right? So it said his vesture was dipped in blood. The same thing, this pretty much the same way Isaiah described it, man. You know, his garments, dyed garments, man. So these are the same visions, so to speak, right? That's all I'll get on that.
You can jump back to Isaiah 47.
This is back in Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 3. It says, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man.
Right. So it says what? His shame shall be uncovered, man. You know, which lines up this Jeremiah 49 and 10. It says, but I have made Esau bare. I had uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. That's being exposed, right? It says, and his seed, it said his seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. And I'm gonna stop it right there just to go back to Isaiah 47, but we're gonna continue in this Jeremiah 49, you know, just to link up Esau with Babylon some more through the spirit.
This is back in Isaiah 47 and 3. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. As for our Redeemer, the Lord Yahweh of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent, and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. I was wroth with my people, I have polluted mine inheritance, and given them into thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke.
Yep. And that's what he did to our people, man. What in Deuteronomy it says that he won't in the curses said a nation that won't consider the old or the young, roughly paraphrasing, man. You know, this is the devil that didn't show us no mercy, right?
It says, verse 7, and thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. Therefore hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children.
Now that's key. That's key right there, right? This Revelation, the 18th chapter. And mind you, we're going to jump back to, we're going to keep jumping back to these different chapters to prove points as the Spirit moves us, right? But this Revelation 18, and I'm going to start at 6. It says, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. And the cup which she hath filled to her double. And it says, what we started with in Psalms 137, reward her even as she rewarded, as you know, happy shall he be that the reward thee as thou hast rewarded us, right? This verse 7, how much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see nor sorrow. That lines exactly up with what Isaiah is talking about, right? This is verse 8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burnt with fire, for strong is the Lord power who judgeth her. You know, but just going back, showing you that John and Isaiah, they're seeing the same thing, you know.
Yeah, this is back in Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 8. Therefore hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment and one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries, and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. For thou hadst trust in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge it hath perverted thee, and thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me.
Right, and it says thy wisdom and thy knowledge have perverted thee, which going back to matter of fact, we just get it in Obadiah. Oh, that's where you had it?
Yeah.
Because it's going to say the same thing in Jeremiah 49, but it's Jeremiah 49 is a little lengthy. So we're going to go into it through the Spirit. But we just hit the point in Obadiah about his pride.
This is Obadiah 1 and 3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
Right. So it says thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it have perverted thee. So that's Esau's pride, man. You know, his riches that the Lord has given him, man, the knowledge that the Lord has given him, right? His technology, his weaponry that the Lord has given him, it has perverted him, man. And that's caused his pride to grow. You see? Go ahead.
And now Obadiah, or back in Isaiah?
That's pretty much the point in Isaiah. You keep going in Obadiah.
All right, Con. This is back in Obadiah. Salakia. All over the place. This is back in Obadiah, verse 4 now. It says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord Yahweh.
It says, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. Now, when you go to Isaiah, the 14th chapter, it said, can you read that part again?
It says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars.
It says, they set thy nest among the stars, right? So that's him exalting himself, right? That's him with his satellites, his space station, right? Go ahead.
It says, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord.
It says, thence will the Lord bring him down. Now, when you read Isaiah the 14th chapter, and you start at verse 4, it says that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. It says, the Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked, which the wicked, Malachi 1 and 4, right? And the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. And the prophecy was that the red horse would rule the earth with what? With a sword, man. The same sword which was his blessing in Genesis the 27th chapter. But let's keep reading. Verse 7, it says, I'm gonna just read through. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. And a feller is a cutter down of trees, man. Is a hero, a hero of forces, man. And under Esau Edom rule, this is the most that deforestation has happened on this planet, you know? And you can Google that, right? But let's keep reading. Verse 9, this is the point. It says, no, that's not the point. Where's my point? Verse 13 is my point. I'm going to jump down to verse 13. It says, for thou hast said in thy heart, I will, now this is the king of Babylon speaking. For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. That goes back to that Obadiah, linking it up, right? It says, I will also sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High, man. You know? And it says what? That when he did that, from thence will the Lord bring him down in the book of Obadiah. Let's read the next verse. This is verse 15. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit, man. So the same thing that is speaking about Esau Edom is the same thing that is talking about Babylon, man. Letting you know that Esau Edom is the king of Babylon, that he is ruling the daughter of Babylon, and that their judgment is synonymous, man. You know?
Back in the Obadiah.
Yeah, that was pretty much the point, Obadiah. I could jump back to this Jeremiah 49.
Okay.
Now this back in Jeremiah 49 and 10 again. It says, but I have made Esau bare. I had uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiling his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. Leave thy fatherless children, I will preserve them alive, and let thy widows trust in me. For thus saith the Lord, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken, meaning that was us, right? We drunk of that cup. And art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. That's what we read in Revelation. It says the cup that she filled to you, we're going to feel double, right? Unto him. It says, verse 13, for I have sworn by myself, saith the Lord, that Basra shall become a desolation, a reproach, a waste, and a curse, and all the cities thereof shall be perpetual waste. I have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent unto the heathen. Same thing that's said in the book of Obadiah when you read it, the first couple of verses. It says, saying, gather ye together and come against her and rise up to the battle. For lo, I will make thee small among the heathen and despised among men. And who is that happening to today? Esau Edom, the so-called white man, right? That's who it's happening to. And it's going to and to tie it all in, who is being looked at as the most proud? Who is being looked at despised and made small and made looked at as the filth? America, man. Let you know that America is being ruled by Esau Edom, and America is the daughter of Babylon. But let's keep reading. It says, verse 16, it says, thy terribleness hath deceived thee in the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rock, Caucasians, right? That holdest the height of the hill, though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, saith the Lord. And what was Rome's a symbol? What is America's symbol? It's the eagle, man. Letting you know, right? But it says, verse 17, also Edom shall be a desolation. Everyone that goeth by it shall be astonished and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof. As in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof, saith the Lord, no man shall abide there, neither shall a son of man dwell in it. So the Lord is going to annihilate, right, Edom, according to this prophecy that we're reading, man. He's going to destroy Edom from off the face of the earth. And it says nobody will ever dwell there anymore, right? But according to the prophecy, it says that the land of Edom is going to be a possession unto Jacob, you know? So we know it's not talking about the land over there in the Middle East. So what land is it talking about, man? You know, you go in Jeremiah 50. You started 32.
When did you stop?
You can start at 31. I stopped at 19.
Okay, you said 32,
31.
31. This is Jeremiah chapter 50 and 31. It says, behold, I am against thee, O thou most proud, said the Lord Yahweh, power of hosts.
Yep. Now it said what? The pride of thy heart hath deceived thee.
That's right.
Speaking about Esau, Edom, right? But this right here is talking about Babylon. Letting you know it's tied in together. Go ahead.
Well, even in Daniel's the 7th chapter, it talks about how his look was more stout than his fellows. You know, and when you go into the different statutes in Daniel's, it goes into the different kingdoms that was ruling. You know, that were ruling to the latter days. But it says, verse 31, behold, I am against thee, O thou most proud, saith the Lord Yahweh, power of hosts. For thy day is come, in the time that I will visit thee. And the most proud shall stumble and fall, and none shall raise him up. And I will kindle a fire in his cities, and it shall devour all round about him. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together.
So it's talking about Babylon, right? So it says that the children of Israel and the children of Judah, the northern and the southern kingdom, were oppressed together in Babylon. That didn't happen in ancient Babylon. In ancient Babylon, the northern kingdom was already on this side of the world, man. The only ones that suffered in the ancient Babylonian captivity was the southern kingdom. So how can this be applied today? You know, it's talking about America, man. But you got it.
It says, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, verse 34, Salakia, their Redeemer is strong. The Lord Yahweh of hosts is his name. He shall thoroughly plead their cause.
And that's what it said in Isaiah 47. You know, how the vengeance belongs to the Lord, and he will not meet them as a man. I'm roughly paraphrasing. Then the next verse said that their Redeemer is strong, man. You know, something along those lines.
It says, he shall thoroughly plead their cause, that he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. A sword is upon the Chaldeans, saith the Lord Yahweh, and upon the inhabitants of Babylon, and upon her princes, and upon her wise men. A sword is upon the liars, and they shall dote. A sword is upon her mighty men, and they shall be dismayed. A sword is upon their horses, and upon their chariots, and upon all the mingled people that are in the midst of her, and they shall become as women. A sword is upon her treasures, and they shall be robbed. A drought is upon her waters, and they shall be dried up. For it is the land of graven images, and they are mad upon their idols. Therefore, the wild.
And that's America, man. You know, every city you go in, right? You see these different statues, these different symbols. You know, hey, when you sailing into New York City, the first thing you see is what? The Statue of Liberty, which goes back to the Roman god Libertus, man. You know. Which let you know America is Babylon. It's talking about this place, but you got it.
Therefore, the wild beasts of the desert with the wild beasts of the islands shall dwell there. And the owls shall dwell therein, and it shall be no more inhabited forever.
Who's that talking about? Babylon, right? You got it.
It says, and it shall be no more inhabited forever.
But it spoke about what? Desert creatures living there, right? Okay.
Neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation.
Same thing is said about Edom, right? In the 49th chapter, right? You got it.
As the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah.
Oh, so just like how Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed by fire that rained on them, that's how Babylon and Edom will be destroyed. Well, that's not what happened to ancient Babylon in Iraq. And that's not what happened to ancient Edom in the Trent. In the Jordan area, south of Israel. So what is this talking about, man? You know, go ahead.
As the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof, saith the Lord Yahweh, so shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell therein.
Man, so it just lined it up exactly with what the Lord said about Esau, Edom in Genesis the 49th chapter, man. So now when you go to Isaiah 34, what did I say? Genesis 49, Jeremiah 49. No, you got any more in there? I know that was pretty much the point.
Well, I'll just jump down at least 44, because this is the same exact thing that is written in the 49th chapter as well. It says, behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan unto the habitation of the strong. But I will make them suddenly run away from her. And who is a chosen man that I may appoint over her? For who is like me, and who will appoint me the time? And who is that shepherd that will stand before me?
Hey, well, just because you read that, I'm gonna jump back to Genesis 49 and
Jeremiah.
read Genesis. Well, I keep saying that. I'm gonna jump back to Jeremiah 49 and I'm gonna read verse 19 because he read that in Jeremiah 50. That's talking about Babylon. Well, back in Jeremiah 49, this is still talking about Esau, Edom. So this Jeremiah 49 and 19. Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan against the habitation of the strong. Same thing is said, right? But I will suddenly make him run away from her. And who is a chosen man that I may appoint over her? For who is like me, and who will appoint me the time? Who is the shepherd that will stand before me?
Man,
You want me to keep reading?
Bible Kashad.
Therefore hear the counsel of the Lord that he hath taken against Edom, and in his purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. The earth is moved at the noise of their fall. At the cry, the noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea.
Right, now we're going to jump back to Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 45. Therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord Yahweh that he had taken against Babylon. But it said against Edom in the chapter that the brother read, right? It says, in his purpose that he had purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. At the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved and the cry is heard among the nations.
And you know that the same judgment on Esau, Edom, and Babylon is synonymous. It's together, man. You know? So from there, I'm going to jump to Isaiah, the 34th chapter, and I'm going to start at 1. It says, come near ye nations to hear, and hearken ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them, he hath delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their sticks shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountain shall be melted with their blood. And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heaven shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their host shall fall down as the leaf falling off from the vine, and as the falling fig from the fig tree. Now, what Isaiah is describing, he's describing the missiles coming down, man. It says the Lord's sword shall be, what did it say? It says all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heaven shall roll together as a scroll. So what he's seeing is the mushroom cloud, man. You know, and he was explaining how the missile came in an arching fashion, came detonated, and once it detonated, what happened? You seen the dust and the smoke roll like a mushroom cloud, right? It says, verse 5, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, which Idumea is the Greek way of saying Edom, and upon the people of my curse to judgment, man. So this is how the Lord is going to destroy Edom, just like how we read in Jeremiah the 49th chapter, as in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah. Well, this is how the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, and Edom will be destroyed just like that. Now, when you read Revelation, you hold that?
Revelation chapter 6 and verse, I'll start at 13.
Yeah.
13. All right, count. Revelation 6 and 13. And the stars of heaven fell into the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. Verse 14. It says
the same figs falling like Isaiah seen, right? So it's letting you know that John is seeing the same destruction upon Edom that Isaiah seen. So it's letting you know that it didn't happen during Isaiah's time, you know, and it didn't happen yet during John's time either, you know. We'll go ahead.
It says, and the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. Verse 16, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, And who shall be able to
And
stand?
that's going back to Isaiah 34. It said what? That his wrath is upon all the nations and their armies, man. So let's go back to Isaiah 34 and let's continue to read down. This Isaiah 34, I'm going to read verse 5 again. It says, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse the judgment. The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. The Lord hath a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. And the unicorn shall come down with them, and the bullocks with the bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness. For it is the day of the Lord's vengeance, in the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion, right? And the streams thereof shall be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof into brimstone, and the land thereof shall become burning pitch. Let you know how he's going to destroy this place by fire, right? It shall not be quenched night nor day. The smoke thereof shall go up forever. From generation to generation it shall lie waste. None shall pass through it forever and ever. Can you hold Revelation 18 on that? Bible shot, you know, because it said what? That the smoke is going to go up for a certain amount of time, man. Let's keep reading though. Verse 11. The cormorant and the bittern shall possess it. The owl also and the raven shall dwell in it, and he shall stretch out upon it the line of confusion and the stones of emptiness, man. So nothing is going to dwell here but what? Desert animals. And then the line of confusion, the stones of emptiness, basically you're not going to know when what state was there and what city, right? Now you got state lines and in city limits. You know, once this destruction, once the Lord sweep this place clean with the besom of destruction, you're not going to know where Des Moines was, where Chicago, or Chicago is right here. No, man, you're not going to know none of that, right? It says, verse 12, they shall call the nobles thereof to the kingdom, but none shall be there, and all her princes shall be nothing. It says nobody is going to inhabit here anymore, right? Verse 13, and thorns shall come up in her palaces, nettles and brambles in the fortresses thereof, and it shall be an habitation of dragons and a court for owls. Meaning what? Where these different buildings were, guess what's going to be there now, man? It's going to be what? Nesting places for animals, man. You know, here it is where the White House was standing, man. The White House ain't going to be there. It's going to be a whole den for goddamn snakes or something, you know. But it says, verse 14, the wild beasts of the desert shall also meet with the wild beasts of the island, and the satyr shall cry to his fellow, and the screech owl also shall rest there and find for herself a place of rest. So it's talking about what? That no man is going to dwell here, but it's going to be desert creatures living here in this place, man. It says, verse 15, there shall the great owl make her nest, and lay and hatch and gather under her shadow. There shall the vultures also be gathered, every one with her mate. So this is the judgment that the Lord, that Isaiah seen upon Idumea, upon Edom, right? But now when we go to Isaiah, the 13th chapter, and we start at the 19th verse, it says, and Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. So now we hear it's talking about Babylon, the same thing in Jeremiah 50, right? Linking that together with Jeremiah 49, Isaiah 34, we read, the Revelation 6. This is verse 20. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Didn't it say that about Idumea in Isaiah 34? It says, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. So like it says, I'm going to read that again. This is Isaiah 13 and 20. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch his tent there. So Hakba and Habib ain't gonna be in the gas stations or corners. No, man. Ain't gonna be nobody here, man. Right? It says, neither shall the shepherds make their folds there, but wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures. And owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. And the wild beasts of the island shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged, man. So it's tying in the judgment of Edom and Babylon together, which letting you know, starting with Psalms 137, that the daughter of Babylon is being ruled by Esau Edom, man. And this is the judgment that's happening upon this place in the times we live in here, man. As it says in 2nd Ezra 6, it says Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. You know, but you can jump to the Revelation.
This is Revelation chapter 18 and verse.
You started one, bro.
Start at the top. Okay, verse 1, it says, and after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils.
That's those desert creatures we was reading about, man. Right? Go ahead.
And the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird.
That's those screech owls, right? That's those satires, you know, those different vultures and such, right? Go ahead.
For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works. And the cup which she hath filled to her double.
That's it.
How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she has said in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord Yahweh power who judgeth her. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning.
Just like it said in Isaiah 34 when it's talking about Idumea. It's talking about Edom, right? Letting you know that it's one and the same. Once again, go ahead.
Verse 10, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come, and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her. For no man buyeth their merchandise anymore, the merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and apparel, pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all thyine wood and all manner vessels of ivory.
That's letting you know that's America, man. The merchant city. How all these things is being imported into this place, you know? Meaning what? America is buying up the goods of all these different nations. That's how these nations been living deliciously, you know? You got it.
And of brass and iron and marble and cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and the souls of men.
And slaves and the souls of men. That's America, man. But code name in the scriptures is it's the daughter of Babylon. It's Babylon the Great, right? You got it.
And the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchants of these things, which were made rich by her, shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, alas, alas, that great city, that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company and ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stood afar off, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, alas, alas, that great city, wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness, for in 1 hour is she made desolate. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for the Most High hath avenged you on her.
That's it, man. You know, so the Most High, he's going to avenge us, man, by destroying this place, you know. And that's pretty much it, brother. I was thinking about going into Ezekiel 26, 27, you know, but it's all good, you know what I'm saying? Because the point is proven, you know. If you hold anything else?
Bye.
You know, so they, you know, Lord willing, you know, I hope that was edifying. The point is proven that Esau, Edom, he's the king, he's the ruler of the daughter of Babylon, and how their judgment is simultaneously with each other, man. Edom is Babylon, and Babylon is Edom, and it's going to be destroyed by nuclear fire, man. You know, so America will be destroyed, man, and according to the prophecy, you know, and we will be redeemed out of this place as long as we continue doing what we doing, man. It says, he that endureth unto the end, same shall be saved. You know, so we just gotta stick to the script, you know, stick to the script. So Lord willing, I pray that was edifying. Thwadi Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, and give us the spirit to do this lesson. We're going to give all praises, honor, and glory to
Yahweh Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham,
HaKadosh. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, salutations to all you brothers preaching the gospel of truth and sincerity, all sincerity. Shalom, La'ilah Tuah.
Shalom.